years ago. Unfortunately, it died at Steelhouse this year. But for 50 quid off Gumtree, I bought a 12-man tent. It was the most absurd thing I've ever bought. It was so heavy, but we called it King's Landing, and we just took it to every festival. It was fantastic.
My dream is, once I start driving, is to buy myself, I think it's a 10-man tent I've seen, and it's absolutely beautiful. Has a dedicated sleeping area, dedicated communal area. It also has a little door at the side of the entrance where you can put stuff in as well. To keep it away out of the it's brilliant. I mean, it is like £1,000, but
Oof.
Check eBay for those kind of things, unless you do want it new, because there's a company that recovers abandoned tents and refurbs them for charity.
Oh,
And
really?
they usually get loads. So I've saved one because I need to replace the one that died at Steelhouse, and I've earmarked a couple because they're like the 10-man tents, but are inflatable. So you don't have to put them up normally. You just have to spend an ungodly amount of time with a foot pump. But
no, I've seen. You can get the little gadgets now to put onto it, and it will inflate it. It inflates itself.
Yeah, so they're still a couple £100, but I'm looking at that thinking, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, the 10-man one I saw was inflatable as well.
Murk, send me the any information you've got on that company that rescues tents, because I need to get rid of mine.
Oh, sure.
It is a bit worn. The the poles are kind of split in some places, and there's 1 or 2 holes in the structural integrity and such. But yes, anyway, 2 o'clock. Here we are. Lovely. We're just waiting for Chris, are we?
Yeah, he's just on lunch duty.
Nice. Nice to see who really wears the trousers in this relationship. It's the dog. But
Yeah. Sadly.
Alright, yes. Well, I was just going over some of the new rules changes with Dave. Sadly, we will be without Liz today because she's working. But we get a Dave in exchange for a Liz, so, you know, it's not all bad.
Hi.
Okay, groovy. So, we'll just wait for... Oop, never mind. Sustainable Festival tent hire. Right, okay, cool.
So they do hiring as well, but they also have a store, but you can probably contact them. We turn unwanted outdoor products into functional, affordable. Yeah, so you probably just contact them and see how to get it to them.
Lovely. Because, not to let the folks who are listening to the stream at the moment in on too much of my personal life, but I bought that tent when it was like the last of its line, so I got it on discount because they were trying to get rid of it. No more are made like it. It was like a 5-man. Pretty decent size as well, and it came with its own porch and carpet and stuff as well. It was great. But sadly, I don't use it anymore.
And that's what I've tried to justify to myself, so we'll see if you guys want it.
12th birth. Nice. Yes. Okay. Yeah, so since we are without Liz, let me just quickly check. Everybody should have their own characters as per usual. It's just that I think Liz was being Captain Sobek, so that means Sobek will himself turn into a supporting character like Nurse Uro for the purposes of our little game today, so hopefully that should turn out alright. Most folks are logged in. Who's not?
I don't know.
Dave.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if anybody can see. I can roll my own dice now.
Oh yeah, he's very proud of that. He's got actual PC access at last.
Celebrate!
It was my
graphics card after all.
It was my graphics card.
Should we have Dave roll everyone's die?
to make up for the last few months.
Here we are then. Ta-da! Mine's rather bland. Someone had some excellent green dragon scale dice just then, I have to say. No one, of course, who's watching the stream is seeing any of this at the moment, though, so...
I was rather enjoying the customization of the dice in the settings, so...
Yes. Well, absolutely do. It's what it's there for. Right, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to turn off the rumble, and I'm going to turn off the music, and I'm going to throw us very quickly into our intro video and back to our main play screen, so don't go away, folks. We'll be back in a couple of moments. Hello folks, and welcome back to the continuing adventures of the USS Combs. I am MJ the GM, and I will be your games master for the next couple of hours, and with me are the majority of the Combs crew. We've traded in Liz for Dave today, so it remains to be seen if that was a worthwhile trade.
Sorry guys. I'm sorry.
Thanks for providing him the Sirenscape link there, Mick.
No problem.
Thank you very much indeed. Right, let's get into it. So, let me just take that away. Put us back into the intro theme for a moment. Okay then, so, as brief as we can make it, summary of the situation the Combs crew find themselves in. Tasked by Admiral Pressman, the very same admiral behind the whole debacle with the USS Pegasus, of which Captain Sobek and Lieutenant Gurkow were part of that crew that stayed loyal to then Captain Pressman before, of course, they abandoned all of their shipmates to the epic fail that was the USS Pegasus. But nevertheless, Pressman seems to have avoided the consequences of being charged with backing a project that brings in an illegal device onto Federation starships, i.e. a cloaking device, and seems to be back being an admiral again and dishing out orders. As such, he dished out an order to the Combs crew to go investigate a dark matter nebula, an intensely difficult to navigate and, well, not survive exactly, but difficult to navigate and difficult to no, I can't think of any word but other than survive at this moment. Dark matter nebula that might have something to do with the presence of life forms who can navigate the mycelial network, i.e. macro tardigrades. Apparently Admiral Pressman wants to bring back the displacement-activated Spore Hub drive in order to give Starfleet an edge over the Klingons, who it is currently in an open conflict with. And so Pressman wants to find evidence of tardigrades and to try and figure out how they navigate the mycelial realm.
Hello. Sorry about the delay.
Hello! It's fine, don't worry about it, we're just doing the summary.
Cool. It's loading up forward now.
Cool, no problem. So, you guys had managed to successfully navigate the Midnight Cloud, the dark matter nebula in question, and had found the source of the mycelial energy at the center of the Midnight Cloud, which was this rather impressive mycelial construct, which was essentially a great big mycelium tree, which had breached between the layers of subspace to emerge into this one. Potentially what's caused the creation of the Midnight Cloud and all of the dark matter particles in it. This mycelial construct has a number of essentially bubbles at the end of many of its larger branches, and each of those bubbles appears to contain some kind of habitat or other that are specific to mycelium-linked life forms. So, with no evidence of where tardigrades actually are hanging out, if they are hanging out on the mycelial construct at all, it falls to the Combs crew to investigate them bubble by bubble to see if they can find any trace of macro tardigrades. And so, we've had the crew and the away team kind of bumbling around through the some of the early bubbles. They even tried to go straight down the trunk of the thing to find out what might be past the midpoint where the trunk of this mycelial construct emerges out from the breach in subspace. Unfortunately, trying to get past that point in the trunk subjects humanoid life forms to intense neurological damage. So at this current moment in time, the crew are unable to get literally to the root of the problem because they cannot get past this subspace breach barrier. But it seems some of the mycelial life forms present within the mycelial construct are able to. So at the moment, the away team's job is to get as large a sample size of different mycelial life forms as they can to see if they can identify what property of these life forms allow them to essentially negate the brain scrambling properties of the subspace breach partway down the trunk of the mycelial construct. So, everybody with me so far?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I haven't missed anything, or there's nothing that's clear that I need to go over quickly?
Not just that Flesk is not feeling too well after his little adventure in science.
Yep. Okay, cool. So, since we are plunging into the mycelial construct, you've found a number of different biomes, mostly supporting mushroom-like life forms. Nothing that advanced, although you did find a colony of beetles, which were being poisoned by some kind of parasite that's made its way into the mycelial construct. You also found a bubble which had been pretty much stripped of all the life within it and replaced by all these gooey cysts or pustules, which appear to be the byproduct of whatever this parasite is or whatever it does. So, there's obviously something wrong going on with the mycelial construct itself and this parasite that seems to be infesting it, and it's, according to scans that were made, the root of this parasite is down in the root of this construct, past the subspace barrier. So if you want to help this mycelial construct and get over the parasite that it's currently hosting, then you need to find some way of getting past that brain-scrambling barrier. Speaking of, the last bubble you had found yourselves within was the following one. Lit by some glowing exotic life forms and mostly mushrooms. A couple of you folks had detected movement nearby, and when Gurkow and Flesk went to investigate, A pack of Klingon warriors erupted from behind cover and have now brandished their weapons at you and seem intent on a fight. So, let's get to it, as they say. So, I'm essentially throwing folks into initiative here right from the outset. And unpausing the game. Because the Klingons jumped up out from behind cover and announced their presence pretty heavily, we can assume that no side gets an advantage over the other, so one of you can start doing whatever it is you want to do to deal with these Klingons.
Go for it, lefty and righty.
Yeah!
Yes, I'm going to basically jump on the first Klingon I see and pummel him.
Why did I suddenly get this mental image almost like out of a computer game where Gurkau kind of gets on the back of this guy and starts just raining down fists on the top of his head?
That would be accurate.
Alright then, good to know. Alright, Gurkau, you've got a minor action to move and a major action to do whatever you want to do with, i.e. pummel. So you are within your rights to be able to move your character close to whichever Klingon you want to begin introducing to lefty and righty, and we can do an unarmed combat exchange. Now, because both parties are aware of each other, the difficulty for this will be an opposed challenge. Because Gurkau is taking on the Klingon warrior will roll daring and security in order to present you with the number you have to get over in order to actually attack. So there we are, 2 successes.
Ugh.
Gurkau will need 2 or more successes in order to land a blow.
Okay.
Now, you can ask for help from somebody if you want, and that means that somebody will more than likely give up their turn. But you do have both Captain Sobek and Nurse Uro, who are supporting characters, and because they are supporting characters who aren't controlled by any of yourselves, the players, they can only assist. So if you need assistance with something, it may as well use a supporting character.
Yeah, you might as well take the captain.
Yeah, I'll take the captain. He can assist with... basically, go get him in Falcon terms.
Alrighty. So, let's have... Dave, since you haven't been able to control a character in a while.
Yeah.
Let's have you be Captain Sobek, so let's give you the assist to Gurkau. This is essentially going to be daring and security.
Ooh,
Needless to say... Yes?
He's a commanding officer. He can give his determination to Gurkau.
Yeah.
And that gives her that instant 2 successes.
You may spend determination to grant any other character you can communicate with 1 determination. This does not have to be linked to using or challenging a value. Yeah, we can go that way if we want to.
On
I
top
mean-
of
They go
this,
home kind of thing.
yeah, and also assist with inspiration to really pummel the Klingon down.
Yeah.
So Sobek's just there going, use the left, the left. No, the other left. Now work the body.
I mean, if we're gonna use his determination to get that automatic 2, would it be worth me spending 1 point of momentum to roll another dice?
Yes, absolutely.
So, because determination works differently now, rather than rolling an extra dice and that extra dice being an automatic 1, what determination now does is replaces one of the dice that you roll. So in Sobek's case, it would be rolling that presence and command dice to inspire, and it rolling an automatic 1. So we can already count that roll.
Take the determination off.
What was that, sorry?
Oh, he's gone.
I've just done that, so I've got him up as an assault. So, sorry, Dave, but you've got no roll to make.
I'm going to sit back in my corner then.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. But Tavish will have her turn at some point, I am sure. So Sobek has rolled a determination to gain an automatic 2 successes, which will allow, thanks to commanding officer.
Oh, I meant he uses his talent, so he still rolls, but he uses his talent.
You may spend determination to grant any other character you can make. Oh no, sorry, you do spend it.
And it
to allow somebody else to gain one, so he can still roll. So there we are, Dave. You still have an option of rolling here. Sorry, my mistake. Thank you for helping me correct that.
Gurkau gets a determination, and the 2.
Yeah.
So it's 1 dice is a determination, 1 dice is normal. But Connie was saying take a momentum on top of that, so she'll have 2 dice and the determination.
Yes.
And I like those odds.
Yeah. So, Dave, if you can roll me presence and command.
Oh, it's changed. Okay.
Using Captain Sobek, please.
Is it 1 dice?
1 dice, please, yes, with focus.
With a focus. Okay.
1 success. Okay, cool. So what we want from Gurkau now is, of course, a daring and security check. You usually roll 2 dice, but if you are buying momentum to... If you're spending momentum, pardon me, to buy an extra dice, which I've taken the momentum off for, you would normally be rolling 3. But if you're spending determination as well, then what you're actually going to be doing is rolling 2 dice and checking the determination box because, like I said, determination now replaces one of the dice rather than adds one.
Yeah.
So whenever you use determination, decrease the number of dice you're rolling by 1 and still check the determination using determination box. Gurkau has got hand-to-hand combat as a focus, so remember to use the focus box as well.
Do you have like a star-cross or something that can boost your focus
got a star-cross.
I do have a star-cross. I don't think I've used any this episode yet. I need to check.
That's a good point because using determination means using a value, and using a value means you have to record it in your log.
Yeah, I've used 1 star-cross.
Cool.
So I have 1 left.
You can use it if you want, or you can save it for later.
I think at this point, I don't want to go overboard quite yet, so I think I'll save it for later.
All right.
So I guess my value would be risk taker.
Okay. Yep.
So I'm gonna do So focus, determination value, 2 die. There we go.
19. So there we are. So that's 4 successes overall, which is over the 2 you needed to hit. Nice. So, today's episode is episode 19, A Bridge to Everywhere. If you want to record that in Gurkau's personal log, used Risk Taker to attack a Klingon. You'll be able to refer back to that later in regards to gaining character advancement, which is how the rules work now for 2nd edition. So, Gurkau, with some coaching from Captain Sobek, launches herself at the Klingon warrior and looks to basically run off of this mushroom tree here in order to spring off and land on the Klingon warrior and just start basically pummeling him with piston hammer fists. But as soon as she makes physical contact with the Klingon warrior, he disappears.
Oh.
That was strange.
Interesting.
So now it's one of them that goes next, unless you want to spend momentum to keep the initiative, which is 2 momentum.
What do we think? Should we do it?
No. Go for it.
I honest, bring this back down to 2 momentum,
Yep, it will bring you
You said
down
there's
to 2
some
momentum.
spare.
But, yep. Up to folks.
I mean, are they actually there? Or that it's an illusion then?
It's an interesting question.
I feel like because it might be that if they are an illusion, they can't hurt us. But I don't know if they could still be able to. Even
The
if
only
we
way
can't.
to find that out would be to let one of them go next.
Yeah.
Do it for science. See what happens.
Maybe we saved it to the
You've
momentum.
got this, Connie.
So back
Take him.
protect me.
Alright, so this Klingon warrior holds his bat'leth aloft and shouts a battle cry and comes racing towards Sobek and Gurkow and then kind of stops and keeps on yelling and screaming and eventually rears back dramatically and rather overswings it as if he's building up momentum or delaying his swing as much as he can until eventually it swings his bat'leth down. Are Gurkow and or Sobek going to try and dodge out the way?
I think that would be wise to dodge out the way.
Okay. In which case, you are doing an opposed check. So your daring and security is going to be the difficulty that the Klingon warrior is going to need to get over. So roll daring and security, please, with your focus.
Ooh.
20.
Okay.
Are we doing anything about that 20, or are we carrying on and seeing what happens?
I mean, I do have a Legion of Honor I haven't used. Okay, I'll use the Legion of Honor.
Okay. Please throw that into the chat column so that we can see it's been used.
Okay.
So you can refer back to it later in case you lose count.
Can I do that? There we go.
So you've accrued 1 success, which is how much the Klingon has to get on or over in order to hit. So let's see if the Klingon manages it. 2 successes. Okay. So this guy is doing an overhand dramatic swing, but it's kind of the whole delay of it is throwing off your guard. Is he going to hit? Is he? He's going to change his direction. And he brings the bat'leth down in a very powerful swing, which you don't quite move out the way of in time, and you get your hands up, and the bat'leth goes through you. Doing nothing. The Klingon fades out of existence. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
All right, what would
Chris.
Dr. Sot like to do?
I would like to run up and headbutt the Klingon.
Roostai!
Yeah.
I like it.
So how do I make that happen?
Interesting. Right. Huh. Now, if excuse me just a second from jumping off topic. I mentioned earlier that I am having weird sound-related issues where my microphone seems to be having its volume adjusted down. My microphone volume just jumped from 92 down to 84 when I made that big loud cry. So apparently my microphone thinks, or Windows thinks, I'm being too loud. And unfortunately, the side effect of that is that now my microphone is quieter, so I'm going to have to start speaking more loudly.
You got this, Matt.
Oh dear. Technical issues.
That's a vicious circle. You're just going to have to get louder and louder every time it turns
Yeah,
you in.
exactly. So I don't know how I'm going to fix that. Curious. Never mind. Alright, Dr. Sot, use your quick action to move up to the nearest Klingon, and your major action to try and inflict a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is a side of Dr. Sot we've never seen before. It must be the beard.
Right. So,
Daring and security, if you please.
cool. Can I do a focus of trauma surgery?
This
No.
is neither surgery nor trauma. It's inflicting trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let me see. Klingon warrior got 1 success, you got 1 success, which means you got 1 or over on what you needed to actually hit. So Dr. Sot just kind of launches himself out and gives a Glasgow kiss to the Klingon, and to the surprise of no one, the moment he makes contact, whoosh, the Klingon disappears.
Boom.
So, essentially, you guys have pretty much figured out by now that the Klingons are not what they appear to be. So I am going to, as you guys have basically figured out what's actually going on here, I will say this much. Dr. Sot and Lieutenant Gurkow are close enough that you do notice that these particular mushrooms by here are a different color to the other ones that you found thus far, and appear to be kind of like vibrating almost. And they are throwing off spores, but you're in your environment suit, so it wouldn't be the spores that are actually causing this illusion. But Captain Sobek, being a Vulcan, will tell you that now that he's near to these mushrooms, he is detecting a slight telepathic presence. Now, we've already established that pretty much all of the plant life and fungal life in this mycelial construct communicate with each other in a kind of a low-level telepathic way. But it seems that this particular mushroom has a bit more of a strong telepathic presence to it. So, anybody who would like to can certainly look to give me a reason and medicine check to see if they can divine what's going on here. I'm going to make it difficulty 1 because you've pretty much figured it out by now.
What was I say? What on medicine? Reason and medicine.
Reason.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's definitely a Dr. Sot task.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. So, utilizing a tricorder as the medical tricorder as well, and giving these mushrooms a brief scan. I mean, the 2 of the Klingon warriors are still there and just kind of making noise and shaking their batlets by now. It's not having any kind of effect whatsoever on you guys. Sot is detecting a strong telepathic field. So it seems that this particular genus of mushroom, yeah, as soon as Flask actually puts his finger on a Klingon, the Klingon just evaporates into nothingness. So this particular mushroom seems to have developed a defense mechanism whereby it projects the telepathic notion of a threat into the minds of those creatures who are nearby. And apparently, it pulled Klingons from your collective psyche.
Which makes sense.
So, a moment of trepidation as a Klingon war party emerged out of nowhere, but it appears that this Klingon war party was nothing more than a plant-based illusion. I keep saying plant, that's not strictly true, it's a fungal-based illusion. Let me correct myself there.
Tavish Tavish is going to ask Captain Sobek if it'd be alright if she tries something.
That entirely depends on what this something is, Lieutenant.
I'm gonna let Nihilil take over my optical nerves and stuff from what I'm seeing, so I can see what she sees.
Intriguing. And what is it exactly you hope to achieve by this experiment?
Well, if there's another illusion like that, seeing as our brains are being affected, I doubt.
Your artificial intelligence may not receive the telepathic instructions that tell it that there is something there that isn't.
Yes.
Interesting. I would counsel caution in allowing your inbuilt AI implant to take over complete control of your optic nerves. Perhaps if you at least allowed your AI to see through your eyes, it would be able to analyze that input.
Okay.
It
Milo?
would be safer than entrusting your ability to see to an AI that you have expressed concern over previously.
Yes, sir.
Now, as I don't have my voice changer on me at the moment, because I thought that was what was decreasing my microphone volume, and appears to be no longer the case, Nylil, in Tavish's head, goes, "I do not know what he means. He is talking rubbish. Do not listen to him. Who do you trust more, me or the captain?" Silence speaks volumes there.
You? The captain? I trust you very much both the same.
You can't. It's difficult to tell with an AI computer program, but that silence that meets that response of yours seems to be very pregnant with possibility.
All right. Right, you're gonna see what I see. Let me know exactly if I am seeing an illusion or not.
I will notify you as to any disparity between what you sense and what you see with your eyes and what your reaction is.
Okay. Thank you, Nilo. You are amazing.
Welcome.
Ah.
All right then. Other than the telepathic mushroom in this area, there's nothing much else that suggests tardigrades are here. This would certainly be another one of those environments where, according to the information you have on macro tardigrades, they would find a reasonably comfortable environment. But you've detected no presence of such creatures in here, so this is becoming something of a conundrum. So, on to the next one.
Take it we take a sample of the telepathic mushroom.
This is going to be very interesting. How would a telepathic mushroom that responds to imminent danger take somebody taking a slight sample of it? So you're going to have to be very careful with what you do.
Do we still have contact with the ship? We can just ask them to beam it up.
I mean, if you wanted to, I suppose you could beam such a thing straight to the Arboretum.
Please do not send the telepathic mushroom to the ship.
Well, I want a sample.
All right. Maybe a little sample, but not the whole thing.
Can I get a control and science check from, with a focus on botany, of course, from Gurkow to see just how carefully she can do this? I'm going to make the difficulty 1, but I am going to increase the complication range by 1 as well, because... funny? Oh.
Nice.
A professional at work. So, knowing full well that this thing has got a defensive mechanism, Gurkow goes about using her botanical tools to safely remove a smaller not as well grown sample of this telepathic mushroom, and therefore doesn't trigger any response from it at all. Nicely done. Alright, is there anything else you would like to do in this area, or would you like to move on?
I think we got everything.
I'm good.
Right. Then, once again, you find the entrance to the area that you came in through, and move along the branch, which again has its own gravity, and go back through the trunk to find another bubble that you haven't yet visited. So let me pop you guys into the next area. Right. Okay. This bubble appears to be filled with the rotting remains of many unidentifiable but definitely mycelial life forms. So even though there are structures here and there that are mushrooms, they are very much dead. They are expired. The ground underneath your feet is crunchy and arid.
They're dead, but they're not like pussy and gross like the other one.
No, they are not pussy and gross.
Shall we scan?
Let's go.
Shall we dance? Okay, cool. Anybody who wants to, and certainly anybody who wants to assist, can give me an insight and medicine task. This is difficulty 3. So obviously those with the higher medical skills will be able to detect. I mean, again, Nurse Uro, like Captain Sobek, is currently a supporting character, and therefore all they can really do, unless ordered, is support. So if Dr. Sot and Nurse Uro want to give a combined attempt at trying to divine what's going on here, we can have Mark be Nurse Uro, assisting Dr. Sot. So this is insight and medicine. Uro can actually use virology as well as xenobiology here, so...
Cool.
Ooh, 2 from Dr. Sot. Very good, very good, very good. No pressure, Uro, but it's all on you now. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
3 successes, exactly what you needed. So, some thorough examination of the rotted remains of these former life forms. You find evidence of the same neural parasite. Now, as has been noted already by Mark, there's a lack of those horrible slimy pustules, which suggest that this is possibly the end result of the parasite's infestation. These dried globes that are dotted around could be the dried out remains of those cancerous pustules. It's unclear. But this could very well be the end result of what happens if the parasite is allowed to fester for too long. It's completely devoured all the life in this specific bubble, and as a result, everything in here is dead. The remains look to indicate that everything in here has been dead for some time. So there's nothing much to analyze in here, I'm afraid. Everything is entirely devoid of life. Is there anything you would like to do or try?
I guess we'll see what's left, like, or just seeing if there's any trace of the parasite in the mushroom
More
husk.
sampling.
And sampling.
More samples. Because these are all very much dead things, there's no need for a check of any kind because whatever you put your hands on just crumbles. Which means you can still get samples, of course, it's just all going to be inert, dead matter. Nurse Uro and Dr. Sot have already pretty much figured out this is more than likely the parasite's work, so there are the barest of remnants of that parasite, but it definitely seems that it's come in here, devoured everything, and just left, since there's nothing more to feed upon. So
With the sort of decaying remnants of the parasite, could Dr. Sot and Nurse Uro try and work out a treatment or vaccine for it?
interesting. So far, you're getting a lot of... You've so far gotten a good couple of scans in regards to the thing. And yeah, it could be possible to try and create something that could potentially repel it. So, I mean, again, Gurkha's botany becomes very useful here because it definitely seems to be feeding on plants and fungi. I mean, you've already come across actual beetles, insectoid life forms here in the mycelial construct, and they weren't infected by the parasite. They were just poisoned by the fact that the parasite had altered the pollen, or the nectar rather, I should say, of the flowers that they fed upon. So it doesn't seem so far that the parasite infests living creatures like insects. So at the moment it seems pretty specific to these mycelial plant and fungal life forms.
Perhaps they can create a kind of de-weeding spray, but debacterial spray. Like treating a garden.
Yeah, so what we can do there, I think...
They trust Flex to propose the antibacterial stuff.
Yep.
we need to liberally spray it over everything.
Let's just nuke the planet with it from orbit.
What are those things that pest controllers would do? They would just drop these canisters full of this horrible toxic smoke and fumigate. That was it. Just fumigate the whole thing. Just fire a torpedo full of fumigants. Is fumigant actually a word? I think I've invented a new word.
I want
It's
it to
a
be
good one.
real.
I think it's a good word. I'm going to patent that. Patent? Whatever. Okay, cool. So let's do another assisted science-related thingamabob with reason and medicine, or in Gurkha's case... No, it'll still have to be medicine. I'm sorry. Because it's about biological life forms, and... yeah, botany is definitely going to be Gurkha's go-to here. But it's more than likely going to be Dr. Sot that's a good one to lead this one. So let's have Dave, if you can be Nurse Uro for us.
Okay.
This is going to be another reason and medicine check with virology, I suppose. Or xenobiology. Virology makes more sense because you're trying... it's a parasite though, rather than a virus. They are fairly close though, so...
Xenobiology.
That'll do. So, difficulty 3 overall, I think. So there's one from Uro.
Yeah, just checking Sot. He's got nothing really focus-wise, is he?
No, but he's got a heck of a lot of talent.
Hey!
2 successes, so whatever Gurkha produces is now gravy.
Can I spend a point of momentum to use the reading? And then I can use science instead.
Everyone alright with that?
Yeah, go for it. You
Sure.
should get it
Alright
back.
then.
Play. Bring that down
Sweet.
to 3. Using focus.
Cool, cool. And
There
that's
we
an
go.
extra success, so that 1 momentum that you just spent comes straight back to the pool. As, okay, you have the workings now of this anti-parasite compound. The problem is just injecting it randomly into a branch, let's say, of this parasite might give the parasite time to simply isolate or even remove that part that you've injected. Your best bet would be to find the root, literally, of this parasite, the central point from which it grows. If you can do that, you can inject your compound straight into it, and that would then filter out from this origin point through to all of its branches, and you'd be able to do it in one big fell swoop. So once again, we are left with how do you get past the barrier? But you've now got a rather impressive amount of data at your disposal here, so you're not that much further off of finding something here. But for the moment, this area is just encased in debris and detritus from everything in here being dead. And it's just as you were looking to basically call this a day and turn round and proceed back to where you came from through the branch, this weird field all of a sudden springs into life, barring the way you just came through.
Oh,
Okay then. Scan the field.
Righty. So. You probably want to gain some momentum from this, so I'm going to make it a difficulty 1 control and science check. And who has got the best foci for this?
force field no, it's technology. No.
Anybody got... not really, not so far. Hang on, let me keep looking. Dr. Sart.
Can we
Cultural
fall back?
studies.
Statistical probability.
It might have to be statistical probability because
Oh.
nobody has really got... nobody here has really got anything that helps much. Ooh, that'll do. So yeah, it looks like it's going to have to be Gurkhau's statistical probability that gives us a possible analysis as to what's going on here.
Oh, alright.
Oh, twist me arm then.
Myself then. Which attribute would this be?
Control, because you're trying to analyze it.
And sorry, which discipline?
Control and science, please.
Ah, that's what I like to hear. Let's go.
Right, okay. You're reasonably certain that based upon the fact that you're in a dark matter nebula, there's plenty of dark matter about, that something has now brought into being this field made entirely of dark matter to block your path out. So this weird swirling vortex that's going on is composed almost entirely of dark matter. If you want to try and neutralize this dark matter vortex, you're going to need to give me a difficulty 3 control or daring and engineering task.
Tavish?
Yep.
Sounds like us. Sounds like us.
Yeah, there we go. Anybody? I'm not sure anybody's got any foci related to dark matter, but
Nope.
What am I doing?
either
Daring?
daring or control, whichever you wish to use, and engineering.
I'll assist because I still have a migraine.
Okay, yes, you do. That's a good point.
I don't have any focuses.
Okay, but that's a success nonetheless from Flesk. So 2 from Tavish. Nicely done. So 3 in total. Pretty much what I wanted from you. Groovy. Exactly what we needed. Alright, so you modify your tricorders. So Flesk and Tavish. Modify the tricorders to emit a counteracting field. And it takes a bit of finagling, but you manage to eventually reach the right frequency to counteract the field, in which case it just kind of fizzles out. And you now have access to the branch that got you here, after all.
And Flesk's just sort of pondering, was that random chance or is something decided to create that in our way?
It's an interesting question.
And Flesk just wants to get out of there. He just runs ahead. He's not, I don't want to stay here. Find out.
Dave, were you going to say something there?
No, I'm good.
Captain Sobek does kind of interject at this point, saying, it is curious that the moment we wanted to exit from this place with a potential solution to the parasite problem, that a barrier was attempted to prevent us from getting out of here. I'm not sure where I'm going with this analysis, but it is something that could be worth noting. Fascinating.
What would it
All
be
right, then.
there?
What was that, sorry?
What would it be there?
Alright. You do now have access back to the trunk. Flesk is already proceeding out of here, so I presume folks are, since you have taken what few samples you are able to get, you are following Flesk out?
Yes.
Yep.
Spiffy. Alright, let's see, where do you guys come in from? Probably this side of things. Let's bring you in there. Have I missed anybody? So far, no. I feel like I've missed someone. Ah, there we are, Dr. Sott, hiding underneath Captain Sobek. Alright. Okay. Well, the first thing you notice about this place is that everything is covered in slime. Every mycelial life form, everything is just coated. You're either walking through an inch or 2 layer of goo, and there are also, as you can see, branches of slime crisscrossing from between the various different anchor points around this area. There is a horrible squelching noise that comes as these bands of slime just kind of vibrate every now and again with the passage of you making ripples in the goo at your feet. The effects of this slime suggest that the slime is actually somewhat corrosive. Flesk going, please tell me we don't need goo. So icky.
We're going ahead with it.
Oh.
I'm not
Beautiful.
sure whether to reward you a point of determination or take one away from that with that joke.
It was a poor effort, but I had
It was a
to.
good dad joke. It was, yeah, exactly. If you see the opportunity, always go for a good pun. That's what I say. I won't
Exactly.
bemoan you there. But yes, it appears that this slime, this goo, is mildly corrosive. There's probably no immediate danger to the integrity of your environment suits, but if you hang around here too long, it might change.
Oh, can we quickly scan and sample and get out of here? This is
Scan and
icky.
sample.
Now, the
Icky.
interesting... actually, scan and sample, very, very good idea. Okay, cool. So, scan and sample, that sounds like a control and medicine type, or a control and science type job.
Yeah, I can do
Tavish has gone all the way up there by herself. Nice.
Nope.
I'm having a look at the groove from different angles.
Does it look different in different lights? Still slimy this side. Still slimy this side. Okay, so anybody who wants to give me a difficulty to control and science or control and medicine check to get an analysis on what's going on here.
Control and medicine.
Ooh, nothing.
Whoops.
Nada, zip
Let's
zero.
try. Control and science.
Somebody else can give that a go. 2 successes. Gurkow is on the case. Anybody else want to give it a go?
Will it get us
I c-
momentum?
I was gonna say I could actually probably help Dot by using advisor.
Ooh.
Good point.
I think if I think it's if I roll with my command, the assisted character may
Reroll a
reroll
D20.
one
yeah,
D20.
okay, let's do that.
So
So-
I think I have to roll one.
Yes, so if you roll 1 dice doing...
Command
Let's do
and something.
control and command.
Okay. No focuses.
No, no, Tavish doesn't really have any focuses to do with, goo,
No.
parasites, or stuff like that.
Experimental. No.
No. Not a... Let me restate. Not a 1. Neither shields, nor computers, nor power systems, nor warp engines, nor
Ooh.
experimental tech, nor AI. But that helps. That roll of a 1 really, really helps. And that means that Chris, if he wishes, I say if, can re-roll one of those 2 dice. I would recommend the 19.
He's just gone away, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So let's re-roll it for him.
Mhm.
A 9. That's a lot
Yay.
better. So 3 successes for Tavish and Sot, and 2 successes for
I
Gurkha.
could just see Tavish just go to Dot Sock going, "You can do this. You've got this. You worked that
If you narrow
tricorder."
the frequency band to be between these 2 areas, you might get a more focused scan. At which point Sot is like, really? I shouldn't just do like a blanket scan? No. If you do a focused pinpoint scan, you'll get a lot more accurate data. So then it's a case of, oh, okay, do. Try that instead. So yes, as a result of this this scan, you realize that this area is actively infested by the parasite. So these long strings of goo might very well be a... because you've established so far that the parasite has got these very fine, almost microscopic roots or tendrils that it uses to spread and latch onto life forms, and then it spreads from there to the and on and on and on. It seems that these big, almost webs of slimy goo that are stretched between the different plants represent large filaments of the parasite. So if there was ever a time to test whether or not you were that your little anti-parasite injection would to work, this would be a very good testing environment.
Just holding back dry heaving, Flesk
Yes.
encourages. It's like, you should try it.
Yeah, because bearing in mind, there are long strings of snot between various different plants, and you are wading through essentially like 2 inches of mucus.
I thought Flesk would be all about like getting rid of all of this stuff.
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
He just doesn't
he
like
is.
to be in the middle of it.
He wants to fumigate the whole thing.
Okay, I think we should let our botanist, I think we should let our botanist or our doctor try this out.
So yes, Gurkhau's botany could help you identify a nice, thick, gooey strand, and of course, Dr. Sott's expertise in actually injecting the compound, or a sample of this compound that Uro and he had come up with, would be a good combined effect. So yeah.
How do you want to do this then?
I imagine it's going to be Sot assisted by Gurkhau, so Gurkhau can do reason and science because of botany, and Sot will be control and medicine in order to apply the compound to the right spot. So that's Sot with 1 success, and oh.
Second Legion of Honor.
Is that your last Legion of Honor?
It is.
Oh dear. Alright then. Cool. So.
I can't assist. I was going to say, I can't assist Kirkow, can I?
This
Who
isn't
assisted?
really Tavish's bag. I mean, unless Tavish just wants to go, yeah, that's right. You spot that goo. That's it. Put the hyper spray right on that goo spot there. It's so not Tavish's wheelhouse. It's just, I think she'd be more of a hindrance than a help.
I was just thinking of Visor. It's literally turned into this really good talent, and I was like, well,
Don't
if I
get
can
me
help.
wrong, it is a good talent, because anything that allows you to re-roll is a nice talent. It's just that in this situation, it would be very much a case of Tavish going, yeah, that's it, lean over, very good, make sure you want to get a good view of the thing, yep, so that good grip on the hyper spray there, Doc. You want to get a nice good grip on it, and then you can just imagine Gurkhau and Sot just both turning to look at Tavish with a look of, are you serious right now?
I mean, can Tavish's disgust inform her commands, being like, ew, there's so much goo over here, rather than, I don't know.
Okay, let's at least give credit where it's due. I mean, an insight and command, as long as you succeed on it, could help Gurkhau re-roll that 20. But then we've and therefore not have to use the Legion of Honor. So I'll let that go. That's fine.
Oh.
I'm okay with that. It's basically Tavish exercising her command skills. So she's less instructing, more encouraging.
Okay.
I don't think Tavish has got really any foci that she could use here, but an 8 is
Nope.
a darn good roll. Dave is on fire today.
Yay!
Which allows Connie to re-roll that 20. So. And
So
Dave
weird,
will
roll
that's
another
use the
20.
Legion of Honor. Oh yeah,
Typical.
if it rolls another 20, then the dice gods have spoken. Oh, it was close!
Oh,
It's
But
not a
at
20.
least it's not a 20, and therefore you don't have to spend the Legion of Honor. Okay,
Woo!
cool. So, yeah, strangely, Gurkhau's experience with botany does not extend to where to stick a hyperspray on goo. But, as a result of Tavish's exercising her command skills and encouragement. That means Dr. Sot actually does get an extra, gets to use Tavish's success to aid in making sure it's on a good spot
Huzzah!
to inject this compound.
I just
yes.
thought of what Tavish could have said. Spray the goo or get the hyperspanner.
Inspiring through threats.
Do it right or you get the spanner. Right, gotcha. Okay, so Dr. Sot injects the compound into a nice string of goo that we've got by here, and almost instantaneously the strands start to blacken and they start to shrivel and draw away. As soon as that happens, Captain Sobek kind of staggers a little bit as he clutches with one hand his head. The same goes for Uro, who is an empath, who all of a sudden goes a bit ashen-faced as he feels something. And all of you can almost feel it as well. There's this sudden sense of like an agonized scream, but it's not vocal in any way. It's just a sensation of sudden pain that you register on a conscious level in your brain, but not exactly sure where it's coming from. At the same time that kind of weird psychic scream emerges, the goo at your feet starts to ripple and undulate, and these massive-sized single-cell creatures just seem to rise up out of the mucus at your feet, and now start slip-slopping their way towards you. And this is where we do initiative. So, as before, Captain Sobek and Nurse Uro are supporting characters and therefore do not get a say, but they can assist anybody who they want. And we are going to throw this into combat. So, neither side really gets the drop on the other because their presence was pretty much announced by that psychic scream, so anybody of you guys who want to go first can certainly do so.
Is it okay if I go first, guys?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Activating Tavish.
Yep.
Alright.
So, if it helps, remember I have referenced, I've given you a reference to a Dropbox document, the game toolkit reference cards. So if you need a little bit of help seeing what kind of things you can do in a combat these days, on the second page of it there are the listed major actions and minor actions and determination spends that you can do. So your turn is split up into minor actions and major actions. What did you have in mind, Dave?
It's spanner time.
Spanner time. Cool. So, basically, pick an amoeba. Use your minor action to move up to it. Thank you, Mark. So your minor action was to move up, and your major action will, of course, be to strike the amoeba. The amoeba is aware of your attack, and therefore will resist. As a result, it's an opposed task. I only got one success, so Tavish will need one or more successes in order to actually strike this thing.
Was it fitness?
It's going to be daring and security to actually attack.
No focuses?
Not really. Sadly, you haven't got things like unarmed combat or hyperspanner combat. But you did get one success. Right you are, Chris. You did get one success, which was on what you needed. So what you can do now is if you go down into your belongings, you will see under weapons we've put hyperspanner. The icon for hyperspanner, so that kind of brown club that when you hover over it, it turns into like a speech bubble. That's what you press. So we can see that it has got 3 damage. It does stun damage rather than lethal damage. It is a one-handed weapon. If you wanted to add more to the damage, that is a momentum spend of 2. Or are you happy
No.
with a 3?
I'm happy with 3.
Cool. So, with having earned no extra momentum to put it into the pool, you do the standard damage of 3, and as a result of this creature not having a stress track, it therefore is unable to avoid the injury, which is intensity 3, which means that that one is splatted.
Avish does a little dance.
So it's weird. It was like this kind of almost like a bubble life form. You could see some veins in it maybe, and maybe a central like black spot in the center. But as soon as you brought your hyperspanner down on it, it just kind of went splat, like its inside suddenly spurted outside, and you killed the creature in one big go.
You.
Tavis, do you want to seize the momentum and do that again?
Rather than seize the momentum, what you would be doing is you would be spending momentum to do another major action. So that would be... what was it? Perform a task, guard, first aid, direct, create trait, attack. I think it's 2. Let me just check. Combat momentum spends, so if you wanted to do an extra major action, which is attack again, you need to spend 2 momentum. But in order to get across to another amoeba, you would need to use a minor action to get over there, which would be another momentum spend of 1. So you'd be spending 3 momentum to do another attack, which you can do, absolutely. Or...
no, not worth it.
So, unless somebody wants to spend 2 momentum to keep the initiative.
Gurkha?
Gonna be. I mean, look at it.
Go punch
Will
him.
it be?
If Tavish can defeat it, these things aren't that scary.
No, but they are incredibly gross.
Okay, cool. So, somebody, if you want to maintain the initiative, or keep the initiative rather, I should say, then that's 2 momentum. Liz is just checking in on you guys, making sure you haven't destroyed the world. So it's 2 momentum, like I said, to keep the initiative if somebody else wants to go next. Or are you going to let one of them go first?
I'd say go for it, Gurkha.
Okay.
2 momentum gone. Activating Gurkha.
I think I'm gonna use my phaser. I mean,
Phaser?
against something like this, I think it'd be cruel to stomp on it.
Tavish, of course, has no such compunctions. Cool. So it's not got any cover, so this is going to be a flat difficulty to control and security check.
Alrighty.
That is 1 success, so sadly that counts as a phaser miss.
Damn.
Now, you've already spent 2 momentum. Do you want to use your minor action? Oh, you used your minor action to draw the weapon, actually, now that I think of it. So, unless you want to spend more momentum to take another action. You are down to 2. Then one of them goes next, which will be the amoeba that is just got shot at by Gurkha, so it's going to slop its way in Gurkha's direction. But just as with the fistfight with the Klingons, Gurkau is aware of her opponent, therefore gets to make a daring and security check with focus on hand-to-hand combat in order to produce the difficulty that the amoeboid creature is going to need to actually hit her. 0.
My god!
Not really, but thanks for the compliment. Alright, so this creature has... so she's taken aback by the fact that this... Okay, so it's an almost transparent creature, so shooting at a transparent creature that's slip-slopping about in a in 2 inches worth of goo means it is a difficult target to hit at range. So it slip-slops in your direction, comes at you, and yeah, it kind of elongates itself and tries to envelop a portion of Gurkau's body. As a result, it has an ability which gives it mean right hook, which means its attack gains the intense quality, which means that when making an attack with this weapon, I may increase the severity by spending 1, in my case, threat rather than 2. I'm gonna do that. So pseudopod usually has 3. I'm gonna spend 1 threat to increase it to 4. Gurkau has got a environment suit on, which gives you armor of 1, so that removes it back down to 3, which means this amoeba will create an intensity 3 injury on Gurkau unless she wants to spend 3 stress to avoid the injury.
So I have the silver banded shield medal.
Ooh, yes you do. Which
No.
allows you to, once per mission, you can avoid an injury for 1 less. So rather than costing 3, it would cost you 2.
Okay. I can live with that.
Cool. So if you go to your character sheet, lower your stress track down by 2 points,
Yep.
representing a kind of a last-minute dodge. Now, Gurkau, being science officer, knows all about single-cell creatures like amoebas. They operate, of course, by just enveloping something and then just devouring them, digesting them from within. So the fact that this amoeba just tried to engulf itself around your head is a very horrifying prospect. So, of course, it inflicts, it reduces your stress bar by a bit as you just about dodge out of the way of it. Who would like to go next? Of you guys. We've got Flesk and Sot who have not had a go yet.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, you also have Nurse Uro and Captain Sobek who can help with anything if you wish them to.
I wonder if there's anything I can do, like, with my medicine skill, if we're basically just fighting, like, giant amoeba. Or science.
You do have, actually, only the medics get this. You do have a weapon. Anesthetic hyperspray.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is a cumbersome weapon, which means that you cannot attack with it unless you take the prepare minor action on the same turn. So you've got the advantage now that if you attack this one, you don't have to use your minor action to move, but you and you already have your hyper spray out technically, but you would need to use the minor action to switch canisters, as it were. So if you want to attack with the anesthetic hyperspray, it would cost you a momentum because you'd need to use a minor action to switch out the hyperspray canister, and another minor action to basically prime it, and then your major action to try and inject it.
I wouldn't mind giving that a go.
Okay, that will cost you 1 momentum, but
Is everyone okay with that?
Just kill these globs.
So the advantage here being that you'll be using control and medicine to attack, not control and security.
Cool. Right. No,
The difficulty of that will be. It's not exactly going to lie down for it. Is just 1. Okay.
Lovely.
8 and 11 means you've got 2, which means you've got
Oh.
1 over and above what you needed, so that goes back into the momentum pool. This creature has no stress track, and the anesthetic hyperspray is an intensity 3 injury, or trait rather, I should say, because it's not an injury. It does have intense, but I don't think you need to use that, because as soon as you inject it, it just kind of goes all flaccid. Almost like a deflating balloon. So defeated, not necessarily dead, but that one has been neutralized. Well done, Dr. Sot.
Thank you.
Now, unless you're spending that remaining 2 momentum in your momentum pool to keep the initiative, then the final amoeba goes next. And it is going to go for Nurse Uro. It senses weakness. Now, Nurse Uro, being a supporting character, will not be putting up a fight. Therefore, because he can't roll. So, the amoeba has a difficulty 1 daring and security check to make an attack with. And I get 2, which gives me a point of threat back, which means Nurse Uro takes a pseudopod attack at intensity 3, which means Nurse Uro has gone down with an injury. Oof. What do we say? Crush injury intensity 3. Because Nurse Uro is a supporting character who does not have any values at all, he does not have a stress track to avoid the injury with, so Nurse Uro is defeated. Not dead. So, for the moment, we will just have him knocked down. Dr. Sot has already been Flesk. It's up to you. You can get assistance from Captain Sobek, however, on whatever you want to do.
Right. That was. I might as well try and give it a shot with assistance and encouragement from Captain Sobek.
Yeah. So, I'll be Sobek.
Fitness
Control
and security.
and security.
Oh, this is not going to go well.
Oh, I rolled a 20.
Oh! Parent figure.
though.
Yep, parent figure.
So the captain is of no help whatsoever. This is a difficulty 2 shot. And you got 1 success. You don't actually hit Captain Sobek, but the proximity of the amoeba to Nurse Uro makes a difficult shot, but it is now looking to engulf him. It's now looking to engulf Nurse Uro, so unless you... luckily, he has got his suit on, which means actually that crush injury is intensity 2 rather than intensity 3, so it's less severe. But if the amoeba can completely engulf Nurse Uro, he's in trouble. Alright, new round. Who wants to go first out of you lot?
Bill, Tavish, surely.
Tavish, the amoeba slayer.
Yes.
One left.
Well, people are in my way.
Yep, but Nurse Uro is kind of just on the floor.
So you can just step over him.
And it is kind of attached to him, so it's going to be a case of just basically hitting it without hitting Uro.
Okay, alright.
So once again, because this thing is feeding on him, I'm not going to make it try and avoid the attack, so I'm going to give it a flat difficulty of 1. So it's daring and security difficulty 1 to hit for Tavish, please. That looks good. That's 1 success. You got what you needed. So roll that bludgeon. Well, not roll it even. You don't roll it at all. Hyper spanner time. It does 3, which means you crush it. and you're able to pull Uro free.
Hey, Uro, can I use your uniform for a minute? I need to get this gunk off my hyper spanner.
To get at his uniform, you'd have to get through his environment suit. And right now, he is unconscious from having taken an injury, so...
Doc!
Yep.
Doc, Nurse Uro is down. Medic!
Yeah, I'm on him.
So, first aid. First aid. Let's see. This is a while since we've done this. Where is the new rules? Here we go. 292 and 293. Come on, computer. Come on, it's a PDF file. It's not that big. Give me a second while my computer decides whether or not it wants to open the PDF. We are going with a very definite I don't think so. Come on, I can't remember if it's difficulty 1 or difficulty 2. Okay, cancel that. Wow, it's not letting me do anything. It appears that my PDF reader has crashed. I'm going to close it. It won't let me close it. I'm going to have to end the task. Won't even let me end the task. There we go. Wow, that was... I'm having all sorts of problems today. And I'm not just talking personally. PDF Exchange Viewer, where are you? Can we try and reopen at least... Discovery. Here we go. And the quick... Where did it go? The quick reference card. There we are. And finally, the core rulebook. Now it opens it. Alright, cool. Apparently, the rules for first aid and recovery and healing are on 292 and 293. 292 plus 4 is 296. See, I could do maths. Alright, recovery and healing. You may provide first aid to help defeated and injured allies. The first aid action allows you to attempt a daring and medicine task difficulty 2 to attend to another character within your reach. This will definitely be emergency medicine or Dr. Sot.
Emergency medicine focus. So that's going to be medicine. And what was the attribute?
Daring.
Daring. Thank you.
Three successes,
Ooh,
well over
boom.
above what you needed. Very nice. That goes back in the momentum pool. So Nurse Uro comes around, but he still has suffered a couple of crush injuries there, mostly to his arm and his shoulder. So he can continue, but the best way of him getting that treated is to be returned to sickbay.
Returning to sickbay.
So you still have got communication to the combs. You can still have him beamed up.
Yeah, better add.
Yeah.
Matt,
Yo.
I've got something on my traits which I have no idea what it is. And it's right at the end.
Rustai, if you remember, at the just as she was leaving, oh good God, the name of the character's completely jumped out of my brain. Combs crew, where are you? Oh shoot, Traza. When Traza elected to leave the combs and go to her Klingon brethren,
Yes,
she
we were.
made
Yes.
you all honorary members of her house, which is the ritual of Ruustai.
Ah, there you go.
So everybody should have, or the main characters at least, should have the trait Rustai in their characters to represent the fact that they are honoured, or not honoured, but adopted members of the Klingon house Krell. So that's what that means.
I was just a bit confused.
That's fine. That's why I'm here, to answer questions. Alright, so you are now down a away team member, but Captain Sobek does speak up at this point. Curious. Once again, it appears that something is making a conscious effort to stop us. First the dark matter vortex, and now all of a sudden that psychic whale awakening a trio of creatures to try and attack us. It appears that something does not want us to be taking care of the parasite, which would suggest the parasite itself is doing this. A concerning prospect.
Is it possible to beam a member of the security team down then, since we're facing, threats from
That's a
globs?
good point, actually. Would you like to request somebody else beams in?
Garrow.
Now, bearing in mind, they will also be a supporting character and cannot act. They can only assist, unless, of course, somebody actively uses command, which I don't think anybody does.
No. In which case, should we get the medical droid to treat us as and
The
when we...
emergency medical drone.
Yeah.
But do we
It
need...
was- Oh, the emergency medical drone wouldn't be affected by the psychic miasma. We could send it to the route.
Are we looking more for medical assistance or security assistance?
We
Good point.
can't really use them for security, can we?
Just
You
to
can assist with
shoot.
your security, your attacks, so you'll have a better chance of actually hitting something, potentially. Unless, of course, they do like I did with one roll of 20. So,
I'd rather have another security person here. Actually, having a security person here, because we haven't got anybody.
We haven't, have we?
No,
Yeah.
no.
so your choices here are existing supporting character Ensign Akos, or now supporting character your Chief of Security Lieutenant Garrow.
I want Garrow.
Yeah. I mean, Akos
Yeah.
has got the multiple
Yeah.
arms, but Barrow makes sense, I think.
Garrow's got the most experience.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, Garrow.
down he
back.
comes. Alright, let's make sure Garrow has got an environment suit. Bodoip, and he has brought his Type 3 phaser rifle with him. Cool. Alrighty, we've gone from Nurse Uro to armed backup. I like it.
All right. No turning that phase 3 rifle into grenade.
Yeah.
Unless the captain tells me I'm allowed to.
Alright then. Give me a second. At this point, as you're basically bringing Garrow up to speed on what's been going on and why he's suddenly needed, you all gain not just the telepaths amongst your party, but actually, no, there's only one telepath in your party now because the other one had to go. So it's not just Captain Sobek that gains this, but you all start to gain the sudden impression of like a voice in your head, but this doesn't feel like that same primal scream of pain that you had before. You've, as you consider what to do, it's almost like a voice down a hallway. And your brain interprets it as if you are actually hearing somebody, more than one somebody, speak. And the kind of snippets you pick up are, and they're not exactly words, but the impression you get is, how can we be sure we can trust these newcomers? Their intentions do not appear to be aggressive. Their mobility could be quite helpful. Stuff like that. It's almost like you're telepathically hearing a conversation in another room.
Can the captain communicate with them? Or oh no, Nursera's gone.
Dave, what were you going to say?
I was pretty much going to say the same thing.
Okay, cool. So, with 2 suggestions as to that, Captain Sobek just kind of turns his head to one side as if listening, and just contemplates it for a moment before saying, I believe my senses seem to indicate that those voices are coming from not far from here. Follow me. And he proceeds to walk out of this slimy bubble back the way you guys came in through it. And as soon as he exits into the branch, which, you know, for all of you is a great relief because now you've got no goo. You're not wading through goo again. To which Flesk breathes a big sigh of relief, but and Tavish is there, of course, wiping matter off of her hyperspanner.
I'll keep it clean.
Captain Sobek is just kind of standing there in the trunk corridor, cocking his head to one side as if listening, and points off towards a particular branch opening. These voices appear to be coming from that one. Perhaps we should investigate.
Let's investigate.
Right on. So, yes.
Can I give some of this gooey matter to Gurkal as?
Oh yeah, is
Present.
Gurkal
Happy
taking
birthday?
one of? Yeah.
A sample.
We went to the lab on the ship.
Has Gurkal taken one of the amoeba splats as well, like the whole carcass?
That's
mean-
up to Connie.
If we can take a whole specimen, why not?
Well,
We
there
did-
was that specimen that Dr. Sott anesthetized, essentially, so...
Oh, even better.
Here's one I made earlier.
Nice. Cool, so obviously you would have to tag it as a security threat, because that's exactly what it appears to be, but you can always transport it off into a secure holding area to be examined. Wow, the science and medical team are going to have an interesting time there. What are they beaming in? I don't know, they didn't say. Oh, good! A blob. Okay. Following the psychic impression, you arrive at a new biome. So, inside this bubble, you discover a lush garden of mycelial life. Plants and insects fill the space, and silver glowing spores hover in the air. Half a dozen enormous life forms that resemble mushrooms tower overhead, nearly scraping the membrane that forms the ceiling of the bubble. These mushrooms have no mouths or eyes or any other features associated with humanoid life, but you're certain they are the source of the telepathic messages you overheard, and are thus intelligent. These telepathic voices appear to be coming from these mushrooms up yonder where I am currently pinging. Now, one quick stylistic note. Obviously, I got this map from. Where did I put the name of the thing? No, not on there. Obviously, I got this as a map from another system. So the fact that there is a treasure chest over there and planks of wood by there,
Oh,
needless to say, are not actually there present.
I'm just about to go to the treasure chest as well.
It's just an illusion by the telepathic.
Exactly. Thank you, Connie. So those are features that are not actually present, but the rest, just the idea that you're in a cave filled with these towering mushrooms, and the biggest of the specimens are over up on this shelf up here, which you can climb up to, should you wish to. But yes, you just have to come down this slight decline here, and it's about that area. Tavish is off.
I am ready to scample, which is a portmanteau of scan and sample.
I actually have a value and focus in negotiation and persuasion. Flesk does want to go, even with his migraine, to go and say hello.
In that case, once again, I would hasten to encourage you to make a note of that in your personal log.
Oh.
So remember, this is episode 19, A Bridge to Everywhere. I can give you the star date if you really, really want to get technical about it.
I've only been putting in the real world dates.
That's
so
fine.
I'll be...
Whatever's simplest and easiest for you. Like I said, these logs don't have to be detailed, they just have to have enough. As long as you can read them, and me as well, to an extent.
Using determination negotiation.
So, not necessarily using determination, but the value does apply here.
Oh,
he is
okay,
a
so I'm not
negotiator,
using...
so he feels compelled to negotiate because he is a negotiator. Likewise, Captain Sobek. Well, Sobek's a supporting character, so it's not as important. Nobody really has any values that would be at odds with what's going on here. I mean, if anything, Gurkhau's eco-warrior value would probably be raising its head here, because you've got an ecology that's being threatened by a parasite. And this definitely counts as a rare ecology. So, up to you whether or not you want to say that that affects your character's approach to this situation in any way, shape or form. If you believe it does, then again, I encourage you to make a note of it in your personal log.
Cool. Log has been noted.
I
Flesk
think-
is going to chat to the mushrooms.
Personal log. Today I talked with mushrooms. It was actually a more stimulating conversation than I was prepared for. Yes, okay, so I'm assuming folks are approaching this situation with their diplomacy hats on.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, we take what Mark just posted to be literal.
Well, you know, hopefully they're not orc mushrooms. They're just regular psychic mushrooms.
Which would be at odds with your negotiation value. So it depends if you want to make this a more difficult situation for yourself than isn't
No.
necessary.
Flesk wants to try and communicate. I was just
Okay.
coming out and thought it was funny.
So the remarkable thing, of course, about these mushrooms is that they can telepathically communicate with you, even if you are not yourself a telepath.
Tavish is going to stay right here.
Not sure about this situation, but has at least got an eye on Flesk. The captain, of course, and Lieutenant Garrow, being supporting characters, are ready to assist with whatever you want or whatever you need. Gurkow and Sot can decide what they're going to do or how close they want to get. But Flesk is going on full diplomat mode. So cool. What would you like to say?
Oh, I'm just gonna try and greet them. So, hello. What, universal green. Ooh, weep grana, weep ninny barn.
I was going to say. And there, folks, is our first cross-franchise reference of the evening.
Can you
Ba
understand
weep,
me?
grana, weep, ninny bong. All right, do you understand was the first part of the sentence?
So, yeah, hello, do you understand me?
Yes, of course we understand you. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you not naturally telepathic?
No.
Oh, how
My
unusual.
captain is, but this is not something I'm used to.
How unusual. Almost all life forms here in the construct are telepathic to some extent, which would suggest that you're outsiders.
We are outsiders. You just called this a construct?
Yes,
Did you
well,
make this?
it's the word that you understand in your head.
Oh. Excuse me.
That was how you translated it in your mind.
Oh, this is weird. We've noticed a parasitic infection in our travels.
Yes, we have noticed this as well, and this is why we were hoping you would visit us.
We think we may have a way to treat it. It's proven
Really?
successful so far. But we've struggled to get past the block on the main branch. Gave me quite a nasty headache.
I see. Yes, a creature like yourself would have a great deal of trouble getting past the barrier. But there could be something we could give you to allow you to bypass it. If you promise to help us deal with the parasite and send us back to where we're supposed to be from.
Where are you supposed to be from?
Perhaps it is better if we show you rather than simply tell you. And it's at this point that you get a load of images just flood your minds. They're not overwhelming to the point of being brain-scramblingly unintelligible, but it's a sudden rush of images that you get. First of all, you get the sense of millennia ago, within the mycelial network, countless mycelial life forms joined together to form an enormous colony creature, each individual contributing something unique to the harmony of the whole. This colony creature then grew into a living ecosystem, eventually taking on the appearance of the enormous construct that you've seen now. The colony creature developed its own consciousness apart from the individuals and longed to explore beyond the mycelial network. Countless centuries passed as the colony creature grew and learned. It developed a method of burrowing through layers of subspace and eventually opened a rift into normal spacetime, or your normal spacetime, allowing half of the construct to exist there and half to remain in the mycelial network. The massive amount of energy released by the subspace vortex gave off immense waves of dark matter, which attracted a spaceborne neural parasite that rapidly adapted to infest the colony creature. The neural virus spread to many of the colony creature's constituent parts, which caused ecosystems to fail and many bubbles to become damaged beyond repair. As long as part of the colony creature remains in normal spacetime, it cannot fully rid itself of the infestation. Some life forms that could flee back to the mycelial network on their own, such as tardigrades, left the colony creature behind forever. Many of the organisms that remain are in great pain due to the parasite. So, once this flood of imagery subsides, you are basically left with what to do next.
If you're able to get us past the barrier, we should be able to treat the infection. But the reason we came from the outside is we're trying to learn about the mycelial network. We want to learn how to travel through subspace, as some of the organisms do. Is that something you are able to share with us? We will still treat the parasite anyway, as it will help us learn more about it as we go. So I'm not trying to barter with them.
Yeah, trying to barter, that's fine. Give me a second. Or several. So essentially, after having learned this information that your mission to find any tardigrades is now impossible to complete, your mission directive changes so that rather than now finding tardigrades, that mission objective has changed to gain a new understanding of the situation. So your mission objective now shifts to render aid to the colony creature and help it return to the mycelial network. The mushrooms themselves give you the impression that because they themselves were essentially born here on the colony creature, they have no knowledge of the mycelial network itself and therefore don't know how to travel it. So they wouldn't know the first thing of how to help navigate the network. Nevertheless, though, the colony creatures suggest that since you have shown no aggressive interest in destroying anything or taking command of anything or taking control of anything, your first instincts seem to be to help. The mushrooms in return would like to help you. They are able to let me actually rephrase that before I go any further. They ask you to travel to the midpoint of the construct where the subspace vortex keeps the colony creature in normal space is generated in order to shut it down. Causing this vortex to collapse will pull the colony creature back into the mycelial network where it will be able to heal itself and rid itself of the parasite. The mushrooms can't do this by themselves because they're immobile. But an enzyme produced in their very unique brains could be used to synthesize an inhibitor that would allow you to withstand the intense subspace distortions at the construct's midpoint long enough to get it to its midpoint and shut down the vortex. This same enzyme has granted the mushrooms an immunity to the neural parasite and will also enable you to travel past the midpoint.
Will we have time to return with our knowledge to where we came, or would we be stuck in the mycelial network?
There will be a small amount of time, the mushrooms reckon. They don't have a very good grasp on the concept of movement and speed, and therefore how long it takes to get from one place to another, but what the mushrooms will tell you, or will indicate through their telepathic link, I'm losing the ability to speak, through their telepathic conversation with you, is that as soon as the midpoint is shut down and the colony creature starts to withdraw back into the mycelial realm, that withdrawal won't be immediate, but it will. That'll be your narrow window to get out.
Yeah, we're going to want to get a transporter lock ready for when we do this.
And that in and of itself, any of the engineers present will tell you will be a slight issue, because the closer you are to that subspace rift, in fact, you'll be on the opposite side of the subspace rift. You'll be in essentially a different subspace realm to the ship. So getting an accurate transporter lock on you is going to be horrifically difficult. You're going to have to... Essentially, the safest method out is for you to then travel back up the trunk to get past the midpoint where the construct meets the breach in subspace. And as soon as you get past that point, you will be able to be transported out. It's just you're going to have to basically run to get there, because the mycelial creature will start to withdraw back into the mycelium realm.
Avish, maybe we can create a winch and attach it to the anti-grav sled so we can all just quickly zip out.
Not a bad idea. Bearing in mind that the midpoint, where the construct, where basically the breach between two subspace realms exist, your normal space-time and the mycelial realm, as the construct creature is sinking into it, that midpoint will be moving.
Oh,
So
yeah.
even if you do have a point at which you can latch a... I'm not saying it's a bad idea, I'm just saying something to consider is that wherever you put that winch on, the exit point will be moving.
Yeah. You can give us a
So-
boost, but we'll have to keep
It
going.
will give you a boost, absolutely. And you do have the advantage that in the middle portion of the trunk will be zero gravity. So the winch idea is not a bad one at all. Even if the winch itself doesn't go all the way up to where you need it to, it should at least give you a slingshot to give you some extra movement momentum, providing we get through this fine. So, anything else you want to ask the mushrooms, which is not a sentence I thought I'd ever come out with? before we try this
Yes. Yeah, so I quite like this idea, and we are just going to help. I just want to sort of communicate to the mushrooms that are more sentient. One of my companions is more of a curious scientist. Is there any way we can learn more about you? She's very tempted to get a sample, but is there a way we could do that of you that isn't going to be harmful or invasive, so we can learn more about you after we part ways?
Okay, so the mushrooms seem to just... yeah, Gurkhau's doing the happy dance. The mushrooms seem to silently consider this for a bit, and then they start to all shimmy, and this extra thick cloud of spores just sprays out from them.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
there's
Gurkhau,
plenty
catch.
to sample.
Gurkhau, catch.
Oh,
So it's almost like you could either open a container and just swoosh it through the air to try and catch some of the spores, or you can just go to the floor and start trying to brush some of these spores into the container. Either way, there's like a cloud of them now, so
Yep.
You can take some spores with you.
And Flesh just thanks him for that. Rather nice gesture, and for the enzyme for us to get past the barrier.
Right, so you're going to have to synthesize the enzyme. So the mushrooms can give the information on the chemical properties of the enzyme telepathically to you. It's going to take a reason and medicine task at difficulty 0 to actually synthesize it using a hyperspray.
Doctor?
So whoever wants to do that, it makes sense to be Dr. Sott.
Yeah. Bear with me a second. Reason
No problem.
and science.
Reason and medicine.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
So more your wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm. With a focus, you said, yeah?
Where the...
No.
Not really.
Cultural studies?
Almost
Mushroom
emergency
culture?
medicine.
No worries.
This is a chemical compound, so.
Worth a try. Is it a
But one
cultured
success.
chemical
It was
compound?
difficulty 0, so you do get 1 momentum into the pool for that. So you successfully create the enzyme. This will allow you to bypass that barrier, that breach in subspace, so you can get to the root. The impression the mushrooms give you is that essentially if you can find a way of disabling the part of itself that enables it to exist in 2 realms, it will start to retreat back into its native realm. How that'll work, the mushrooms aren't sure. They've never actually moved from this biome, so they have no way to know for sure what it is you're going to find when you get there, but they do trust that you guys are intelligent enough to figure it out. So, with that in mind, you have the chemical compound necessary to inject each and every one of you so that you can safely bypass the rift point without having your brains scrambled. And can we all just give notice to the fact that Flesk is negotiating telepathically with a sentient mushroom species whilst in the throes of a migraine? So
Resilient.
no small amount of respect goes to Flesk for this particular effort. So, anything you want to do before you go to try and find the network midpoint? I mean, this setting up this winch thing is not a bad idea.
Yeah, that was before waving goodbye and thanking them. Flesk wants to set up a winch with the anti-grav sled with Tavish.
So that's probably best done in the trunk.
Yeah.
Rather than here in one of the biomes. So, yeah.
Yeah, the last thing Flask will do here is, say goodbye, how lovely it was to speak to them, and best of luck.
Okay. Each of your EV suits should come with, like, a safety cable. So what you can essentially do is lock the anti-grav sled, so rather than it being an anti-grav, you could flip its impellers so that rather than it being an anti-grav sled, it creates its own gravitational, like, anchor. So we're probably going to need a bit of a daring and engineering task from both Tavish and Flesk to basically alter the output of the anti-grav impellers to be the opposite of what it's supposed to do. So I'll make this difficulty 1, daring and engineering.
Manufacturing as a focus?
I'll go with deflector shield force field technology, because it's
okay.
essentially that kind of thing. Because from what I understand, the main deflector and the shields work by producing essentially gravitons.
Cool.
And it's essentially a graviton generator that you're monkeying with. So,
I'm also going to put a note in, because it's, whilst I'm not using the determination, the value, there is a tool for every problem. Because we're just faffing with stuff now.
And so that would be a good note for a value for your personal log. Yes, so there you go. As far as Tavish goes, experimental tech will work nicely here, as will shields in a way. So, yes.
Blogs.
If you go to where your character notes are, do you remember where they are?
Yeah.
Cool. So if you click on your character notes, you'll notice that it opens a window, and on the kind of like the semi-transparent left-hand side, it'll say 0 character notes and 1 logs.
Yep.
If you click on logs, you can edit it, which you've already done. So what was the question?
Where there's what the value, where there's a will, there's a way. I think this would be actually more mad engineer.
Yep, so if you want to make a note of that, and the circumstances possibly around it, just so you've got a reference for your own sake, as well as mine. In case you call back to this at some later point and go, Flesk, you remember that time we created a grav winch from an anti-grav sled? You know, that shows just how awesome we are, how great I am as a mad engineer, and how you realise that there's a tool for every problem. You know, it would show growth and utilisation of values. So, yes, by all means make note of those if you wish to, and Tavish has got the assistant thing going. So, or advisor rather, I should say, not assistant.
What was it? Anti-grav winch?
Basically switching an anti-grav sled to become a gravity anchor.
Grav anchor.
So it shows a great adaptability of thinking and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a anti-grav emergency winch.
All right.
Ooh. Shall we roll?
What am I rolling?
Daring and engineering, please.
How's your daring? I've got
10.
10-5. I've got the same. With your advisor, do you need to lead, or is it better if I lead?
Actually, with advisor, you need to use command rather than engineering, so I would suggest not using advisor in this case.
Cool.
Experimental technology as a focus.
Yep, agreed.
Cool. Am I rolling 1 or 2 dice?
It's
well,
up to you.
which one of you is leading?
Alright, I'll roll 2 then. Come on.
It was
Good.
Flesk's idea, so it makes sense. Alright, and
1.
1 dice therefore from Tavish. Okay, 2 successes overall. I only wanted 1, so that gives you an extra momentum to the momentum pool. Alright, so you flip the anti-grav impellers to be basically a gravity foot that latches onto the side of the trunk that you put it on, not far from the entrance to the branch that leads to here, the mushroom habitat. So now you've got something to latch your safety wires onto. You can basically now float down to the network midpoint. Are you ready?
Let's go.
You got
Bye,
this.
mushrooms. Lovely to meet you, mushrooms. Bye-bye.
Why did I suddenly something popped into my head of personal log? This is my life now. I've just said goodbye. Nice meeting you to a bunch of mushrooms. Something I did not expect to happen in my journeys in Starfleet, but here I am! Are you ready?
They're alright. They're a bunch of fun guys.
Just for that.
Well done.
I'm going to hurt you. No, that was a good joke. I do enjoy a good dad joke. Okay, cool. So, you guys exit into the trunk, you put your anchor down, you attach your suit cables, safety cables to it, and down through you go. There is that shimmering, pulsing light that represents the midpoint where the breach in subspace occurs. And Flesk can't help himself, he winces as he approaches it, because he remembers what happened last time, the incredible pain that he suffered, and still does. But thanks to the compound, the neural inhibitor compound that you were given by the mushrooms and formulated and applied by Dr. Sott, you suffer no adverse effects. Just a slight tingling of the limbs. And so you are able to proceed further down into the base of the trunk, and there you find yourself in a circular chamber dominated by an enormous tree-like mushroom, which rises, as I switch maps, that rises from the center of the room and fills the space with a kind of neon blue energy. Let me alter the atmosphere as well. The giant mushroom vibrates so intensely that it generates a constant humming sound that reminds you of the thrum of a warp core. Dark slime coats the walls and floor, giving off a sickly, sweet odor and causing your feet to slip on the ground beneath you. So, what would you like to do?
So we made it now. Now we need to find the either the main route and give it that jab of pesticide, and the midpoint, the thing that holds it in two spaces.
Yes. Okay, so the first thing I'll ask you to do then is to somebody give me an insight and science task to determine what bit you need to go for. I would suggest Gurkha with botany.
Yep.
This is kind of a weird thing for kind of almost a brain fry situation for Gurkha here, and for everyone here in general, because you're now approaching the idea of biology almost like in the sense of engineering. So this mushroom, whatever it is enabling the construct to breach realms. So it's almost like an organic warp core or some such. So you're having to think partly in regards to plant or mushroom biology, and partly from a warp field theory kind of position as well. But with 2 successes, you get exactly what you need. The tissues that generate the subspace distortion should reside within the cap of the mushroom, so the mid thing right there.
Hey, Tavish, get Nalil to scan this. We might want to make our own mushroom-based warp core one day.
Okay. Neither do you think.
In that case, Lily, I will need you to conduct a tricorder scan of the mushroom in question.
Okie dokie.
So that I may note all of the values that come off of the tricorder scan.
Okie dokie.
So that will require no task roll from yourself. That'll just be Nylil with Tavish looking at the tricorder as it scans and filtering the data through. Nylil's just recording it. Cool beans. The next thing is that you're probably going to have to. Well, you've already got your anti-parasite agent. But the issue is, of course, that the breach itself is within the cap of this mushroom, so you're going to have to design a transgenic agent so that you can neutralize the tissues around the cap of the mushroom so that you can actually get at whatever it is that's inside it that's generating this subspace breach. So to create this transgenic agent, this actually will require reason and engineering.
And if that fails, we have Tavish's hyperspanner.
There's that. So whoever wants to try and produce a transgenic agent, this is reason and engineering difficulty 2.
I don't mind helping Tavish do that, and then if it doesn't work, she can just hit it with the hyperspanner. Or we can modify the hyperspanner to do the work.
I'm going to set off antithetical vibrations to the outer skin of the mushroom. What? I'm going to hit it with my hyperspanner.
Oh. Okay, task? What we're doing?
Reason and engineering, please. I'm not sure anyone here has really got a focus for transgenic agents, so this is going to be mostly pure talent.
Experimental technology.
It is experimental technology.
I suppose.
And
I
I'm
know,
happy.
that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm happy to help because this is just weird.
I mean, I've got to try this at least once. Thinks Flask. All right, that's good. 2 successes. Anything Flask generates is extra, and it is full momentum pool. Nice. So you have now created the transgenic agent, which you can use to apply to the tissue of the cap that starts to dissolve it, which lets you get at what's inside.
You want me to do it?
Well, in order to actually deliver the transgenic agent, yes, you have to get onto the mushroom and start to apply it.
Okay, alright, I'm on my way.
Yeah, Flask won't go as far as to get on the mushroom.
Okay. There you go. Go on.
Right. You might need some help because actually applying this is going to be control and medicine.
Dr. Sot.
That's me.
Help!
Yep.
Yeah, I need some help.
Control medicine.
So that means Dr. Sot's going to have to get up there along with Tavish.
Hi.
Hold on, I'll help you.
Lift with the back, Tavish. Lift with the back.
Okay.
So, if Tavish could try the assistant thing and instead give control and command rather than control and medicine.
And we've got a full momentum pool if you want to steal one of those.
I'm going to use advisor. Do you want me to put that in, by the way?
No, we know you're using it now, so it's all good.
Okay. And it's 1 dice.
1 dice for you, 2 dice for Dr. Sot. We already have had Dr. Sot, so...
I have no focuses here.
No, but
sadly not.
No.
you can take an extra dice with momentum spend if you want to. We got a full pool.
Yeah, there's that.
That's up to Connie and Chris.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, go for it. We got plenty.
Oh,
Take it away.
they're good, which means we're all good, which means do it. Take a momentum point and roll 2 dice rather than 1.
Hold on. Take that away.
There we go.
Yeah.
Removed 1 momentum from the pool.
Whack it.
And here we go.
Looking good, looking good. 3 successes overall, which means the momentum goes back into the pool.
And Dr. Sot can re-roll.
Well, if Dr. Sot wants to re-roll the 15,
Yeah.
but you've got a full momentum pool now, so there's not much point.
Okay, no worries then.
Okay, so the moment you apply the agent to the cap of the mushroom, you once again get that horrific psychic scream, but this time it's a lot louder in a overwhelming sense, because you think you've managed to find the root of the parasite as well. So the scream goes off really blaringly in your brains, and as you're kind of wincing from the onslaught, there is a cry from Garrow and Captain Sobek as from the slime pools more of these amoeba creatures start to emerge. Lots of these amoeba creatures start to emerge, but nevertheless. So, so obviously the parasite is now aware that you're trying to do something about it. and you've exposed the cap now so that you can see within it the pulsing heart of it. So you're going to need to do something in order to finally either destroy it, disable it, whatever you want to do. But it looks like the parasite is using its defenses to try and stop you from doing it. So it's amoeba time. So who of you wants to go first? Three of you at the same time, so let's start with Connie.
I want to stomp on them. This is revenge.
Dave, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, do you want to destroy this big thing?
Valid question.
Yeah, this might be a tough fight. If we can keep them busy while those two get it done, we can just hit the emergency winch out.
Because I do have a plan if...
Oh no.
Why does everybody say that?
It's Tavish. We've established by now that Tavish plans can be risky.
Hold on. I have a gift for this, actually.
Which the folks at home won't be able to see, so I'll just have to watch Discord myself and see what it is. Any minute now. Searching through his gift list. Don't worry, I have a cunning plan. Right, yes, gotcha. As cunning as a fox that's just been appointed Professor Cunning at Oxford University.
Yes.
Sorry, I had to make the Blackadder reference.
So that's our other cross-franchise quote of the day. Alright, Gurkow wants to go first. She wants to stomp. Gurkow, stomp away.
No compassion for the parasite.
No mercy. Okay, cool. So you're gonna stomp, or you're gonna shoot?
I'm gonna stomp.
Stomp, okay.
Gurkha mad.
No problem. Okay, well, you're gonna use your minor action to get up close to the creature that you want to attack. Excuse me.
Try not to slip.
Well, luckily the pool of slime it's emanating from is just at the lip of, but it's going to be using its daring and security to create a resisted action. So one success, so that's what Gurkow needs to get on or over to successfully hit the amoeba.
Can I take a point of momentum to roll 3? Is everyone alright with that?
Oh, go for it.
Yep.
Ito.
I need to preserve my dignity.
Bearing in mind, if you wanted extra help, you can also get Sobek or Garrow. They are supporting characters and therefore can only assist, and therefore, if you want to guarantee it, maybe get a Sobek or a Garrow to assist.
I've got a silly idea with Garrow, so if you want to take Sobek.
I'll take. No, I'll do it myself. I need to.
Alrighty.
I need to do this myself.
3 dice.
Hand-to-hand
combat
combat.
focus. Daring and security.
Come on, Gurkha.
Kirk it. 2 successes, 1 over what you needed. May as well add that back to the momentum pool. Stomp. Which one is it? That one. It doesn't have a stress track, so splat! So a big thunderous stomp basically makes this one explode into jelly. You holding on to initiative, or are you letting one of them go next?
He can seize initiative. What was Tavish going to do?
What was Tavish's plan?
Make a bomb?
Make a bomb with what?
Oh no.
Tri-quarters?
I would suggest your phaser rather than the tricorder.
Oh yeah, phases. Yeah, not tri-quarters. Making a bomb with the phases.
A phaser grenade. Where have I heard this before?
It's like my favourite thing to do.
Okay.
But
Daring and engineering.
Would this be mad scientist again?
If you
Yes.
are going to use a value in order to justify an expenditure of a determination, then mad engineer could be a good value. In fact, did you use a determination the last time you did this?
No.
No. Okay, so this is the first time doing it. This is definitely worth noting in your log.
Okay. Logs. What am I doing? It's mad engineer again, isn't it?
Yep.
And I would be making
A daring and engineering task. Difficulty 2.
Would it be a bomb or a grenade?
Essentially, well, that's up to you. A grenade is a pull the pin, throw and boom, whereas a bomb suggests a timer.
Ooh, bomb.
Timer, okay.
Yeah. Out of a
Oh, I haven't activated Tavish.
out of a phaser. There you go. We'll save that. Okie dokie, so I am taking a determination out.
Ooh. Right, so remember, when it comes to determination, what you actually do is roll 1 dice less
Okay.
than you otherwise would, because the determination replaces a dice rather than adds a dice. So check for focus, check for determination, roll 1 less dice than you otherwise are. Do your thing.
Oh, hold on. What is it? Is it daring and engineering?
Oh yes.
Right, tick.
Flipping open the casing of a phaser and overloading its power core so that it becomes a bomb is definitely daring.
And this is also what focus is it? Experimental technology.
Oh, this is definitely experimental tech.
And it's only one.
If I switch this wire with this wire and to overload the chip, I create a feedback loop which does. Oh! That's... Right, so the choice here is the 2 over what you got can go back in the momentum pool to make it a full momentum pool again, or you can spend one or both of them to increase the intensity of the bomb.
Can I give one to increase the intensity of the bomb and one back into the momentum pool? I feel like that's the.
Actually, pardon me, it takes 2 to increase the intensity. I keep forgetting that.
Alright, what do you think, guys?
You might as well go for the bigger boom.
Alrighty!
Alright, bigger boom.
So now the question becomes, what are you using this bomb to do?
I'm going to put it on the heart of this thing and set a timer.
Alright. Okay. Alright, fine.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the... Oh no. Okay.
It's not setting a bomb to go off and destroy as many amoebas as possible. No, it's actually going to use it to destroy the mushroom cap.
Yeah.
All right then. I think the appropriate response for everyone else is run.
Run!
Oh,
So,
tactical withdrawal.
Tavish does it. Tavish throws it. Tavish can use a minor action to move.
Okay. What am I moving to?
just to the bottom of the map. That's fine. That'll do. So yeah, Tavish just sets it so that it's on a timed overload, drops the phaser into the cavity you've made, and makes a run for it. At which point everyone else gets the general idea of what's going on and goes, "All right, time to go." As all these amoeboids are kind of bouncing, rolling, slithering their way towards you, as you all basically hoof it as fast as humanoidly possible. Which means it's time to pretty much hit the winch. Wow, okay. Oof.
Should I take away the Type 2 phaser out of my belongings?
Leave it there,
Okay.
because we might need to refer back to it. But nevertheless... Okay. Ooh. I am going to now ask for a... Okay, so you hit the recall thing, the winch, basically, on the belt level of your EVA suit, so they start winching you towards the grav anchor. But of course, this is a moderate to slow winch, because it's on safety. Which means that initially all of you realise that as you hit the winch on your belts, that it's going quite slowly, and the timer is clicking down. So you need to hit the button to make this go on ultra fast. So you lose a second or two in the initial build-up, but then hitting the override on your EVA suits to make the winch go maximum speed. All of a sudden, you're being pulled along at a fairly good velocity. What I'm going to need for each and every one of you individually to do is to give me a... This is going to be a reflexes thing. I'm going to need a fitness and security check from each one of you, difficulty 1, to see if you can unclip the harness at the right point in order to propel you forwards in the 0G to get you enough momentum going to zip out at speed. So we're going to change this to be the race to escape.
Oh god, there are 2 worse stats.
Yeah, my 2 worst stats.
Fitness and security to represent your reflexes.
Nobody wants to roll first.
Bearing in mind, you still do have Garrow and Sobek to assist anybody who thinks they need assisting, and you've got 4 momentum.
Garrow like throws someone over his shoulder. Well, 2 people
Let's
over
all
both
roll.
shoulders.
Oh god.
Okay. Okay.
Alright, Flask.
Oh god.
Come on.
If this was blackjack, we'd be laughing.
Oh, it was just a 1.
Oh, it's just the 1 dice. Shall I just re-roll? Sorry.
No.
Can I use a talent of extravehicular activity with my legs being my vehicles of movement? I guess not.
The focus of extravehicular, that would make a certain degree of sense because you used to trying to control a device at speed. So yeah, I'll allow that.
Oh!
It's basically down to reflex of hitting the release catch in just the right time. So yeah, Gurkau gets that really, really well.
Nice.
We all did really.
Done it. Sot. And
Do we want like?
Do you want to spend some determinations to re-roll, guys?
That's a good point.
I guess I can try the once, but I'm not feeling massively confident. Oh, what the heck? Alright.
Ooh, what value?
Oh. Good point.
You're essentially escaping as quick as you possibly can from a situation where you know you won't survive. So,
can we do a
let's
cross?
see what's out there.
Let's see what's out there. What's not in here?
Yeah. So remember to make. What were you going to say, Connie?
Is it possible to do a cross determination transfer, as in Dr. Salt would use the value of always there to lend a hand to help Tavish, and Tavish would use Where there's a way to help.
I can't.
Dr. Salt.
I've already used my determination
No.
on the bomb. We're running away from. I caused this situation. I'm sorry, guys.
It's the ladder all over again. Oh no. Not as
Well, let's hope not, eh?
bad.
Alright, so those... Chris, if you want to spend a point of determination in order to justify re-rolling Dr. Sot's 19, that's fine.
Certainly.
You can hit the re-roll results button.
Yeah.
We're going to get Garrow to help Tavish.
Okay, that's better. Much better. Okay, so get Garrow to help Tavish. Okay. So Garrow can roll an assist, so his fitness and security is really good. So Mark, you may as well do that since you volunteered. Garrow
Okay.
to do it.
Perform task, fitness and security, 1 dice.
And of course he gets awesome levels of... Alright, so he was helping who again? Sorry, Tavish?
Tavish, yeah.
Cool. Sot helped himself. Gurkow's reflexes. So Flesk got 1 success off. Okay, how are we looking?
I do have a determination. Desperation breeds inspiration if we need more.
Yep. Let me think. Alright. So. No, you re-rolled, so I'm gonna have to make it. It's gonna have to be Tavish. Okay. Tavish also was the last one to leave. Was the one at the back, which makes kind of sense. So okay. Garrow to assist. Garrow goes to assist, of course, but everyone pretty much hits their winch. Those who are used to controlling speedy items and have got great reflexes will do it best. So Garrow grabs hold of whomever to try and pull them along faster. It was Tavish, wasn't it? So everyone hits the winch, hits the release catch, and go flying off. The timing is a bit off on some, so Garrow is literally dragging Tavish as he feels the pull on his arm from Tavish not releasing on time. Therefore, Garrow and Tavish are at the back of this. Gurkow got the best release, so she fires off first. Flask wasn't bad either, and Sot put his determination in order to ensure it. There is the massive explosion and a flash of light behind you as you feel the whole superstructure begin to rumble, and you can see as you shoot past it the winch is at the mushroom habitat, so that's slightly ahead of where the subspace breach was at first. So you pass the breach point and then hit the release catch as you come up on the mushroom habitat, so you streak past that. And as the explosion goes off and the whole superstructure of the construct begins to rumble, the light from where the subspace breach makes contact with your realm starts to grow bright and starts to travel up the trunk, as obviously the mycelial construct is now falling back into the breach. And so we are going to need to get quickly to deck 1. In order for our transporter chief Zonvagor. So that means we are going to need to go to the combs, take off another crew supports to represent us bringing Zonvagor into activation. Who would like to take the hat of blame for Zonvagor, the transporter chief?
You know what? I will.
Okay, cool. I'm also going to need somebody to be the ship.
I can do that.
Cool. Right, so for Zonvagor, I'm going to need Daring and Con. Let's check what his... okay. Daring and Con with a focus on transporters. The ship is going to assist with Sensors and Con. which, as a little reminder, that means that, Chris, the ship is only rolling 1 dice, but you treat it as if it's got focus.
Cool.
And Zonvagor is going to be rolling as the Transporter Chief to do a very quick beam up.
We also have momentum, if you want to steal some.
Hasn't. That's 3 successes, mind you. That's pretty good. On the difficulty of 2, which means you won 1 back. Cool. So, what happens? As we travel back to the network midpoint. I'm gonna blow all my threat here.
Oh my god.
So,
What?
Garrow, Gurkau is racing ahead, followed by Flesk and Sot. They're feeling very confident as they just basically reach forward and swimming with it as the momentum of your release from the grav anchor throws you through the zero gravity, so that you're speeding along like a rocket up the inside of the trunk. But Tavish is a bit of a is literally becoming a drag on Garrow's momentum. At which point, Captain Sobek looks back to check on Garrow and Tavish's progress and sees them gradually dropping back and back and back. So Sobek is going to alter his trajectory so that he rebounds off of a wall, lands on Tavish, at which point he says, "Brace yourself," and pushes with all of his considerable Vulcan strength, which propels Tavish forwards at quite a high velocity, extra velocity, this time pulling Garrow along with Tavish. But of course, such heroics has a cost. As you guys speed forwards, you feel the tingle of a transporter beam starting to pull you up. Garrow and Tavish, who both look behind to see where Captain Sobek is, see him falling behind. Just as the barrier between subspace and the mycelial realm is close to enveloping him, that's when you are all beamed back to the deck of the Combs. And when you arrive on the transporter pad, Captain Sobek isn't there. As you all scramble to try and get Zonvagor to get a transporter lock, as you look at the view screen of the Combs, you see the last tops of the branches of the mycelial constructs get swallowed up by the breach in subspace, and then with a flash, the breach vanishes along with the mycelial construct. And potentially, Captain Sobek.
No.
I feel at this point, Tavish is literally on her knees, really distraught.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think anybody would have. No, she is emotional as hell at this very moment in time.
But Flesh just goes over, puts a hand on Tavish's shoulder and goes, "We're making a spore drive. We're getting him back. We've got the mushroom engine."
In the meantime, it's time for the emergency command drone to kick in, I think.
Emergency command drone.
Well, since the captain's no longer here, at which point Lieutenant Commander Lian Zhang just puts her foot against the emitter and kicks him off. Okay. Ooh, interesting. So it seems that the crew, in escaping from the mycelial construct, are short their captain, but the crew are not willing to give up on their captain, it seems, which is nice. And Flask seems determined to recreate the displacement-activated spore hub drive. Very,
Or at least
very interesting.
at least a version using that mushroom warp drive that we saw.
Yes, you now have data with which to draw upon, and of course, there are records that you were given of the displacement-activated spore hub drive, or at the very least, you were
Acquired.
given records, the heavily redacted records from the USS Discovery. Didn't Tavish hack those?
Yeah, Tavish got
Yes, I
way
did.
more than we should.
Ah, so you
with-
actually have access to more than just the tardigrades and their biome. You've got access to the original plans for the displacement-activated spore hub drive.
But we have a good cover story in the fact that we're going to make something similar, but very, very different, based on the scans that Nilan and Tavish took of that mushroom warp drive. So we're going to make something
interesting.
similar to that. But we've got
I do have
everything we
it
need.
down that I have scanned and recorded data on a mushroom drive.
So we're going to make our own even better version with the help of some additional info we shouldn't have.
Yeah, don't
We're getting
worry
the
about
captain
it.
back.
Don't worry about it, Starfleet. It's not a spore drive. It's a small drive. Runs off marshmallow, not mushroom. It's fine.
Yeah. Just the spores? No, we use the whole mushroom.
No, s'mores. We used the whole of the.
Use the whole of the marshmallow. So it's
Yeah.
it's powered by sugar. I like that. Powered by mushroom spores? Nah, we're going full on glucose here. Interesting. In that case, I will say that we will end our episode here on a cliffhanger. Bom, bom, bom. Which means, of course, acclaim and related stuff will be done by myself, probably at a later point today, or if not tomorrow. Our new episode, which we will call episode 19.5, Rescue Mission.
The search for Sobek, surely.
The search for Sobek, I like that even better. Will occur on, next week if you guys are available.
I will be.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I
We'll go
believe
straight
so.
into it.
Yep, the search for Sobek.
Nice. Well then, in that case, I'm going to end this episode a little earlier than usual, as a result of that cliffhanger and the crew's fierce resolve to see their captain again. So, yeah, in that case, I will say thanks to everybody who actually watched the stream. And if you're watching this on YouTube later on and you like what you saw, then consider giving us a like, so that it helps not just ourselves, but everybody who does actual plays of role-playing games and Star Trek stuff. For our fickle lord and master, the algorithm. In the meantime, we'll ask you all to do like the Vulcans do, which in this case is live long and prosper and, sacrifice yourself for the betterment of your friends if the need arises. Maybe get lost in the mycelial realm, because it's oh so sparkly. But also to engage in infinite diversity, in infinite combinations. And we will see you next week to see whether or not the Combs crew can get their captain back. The search for Sobek. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, guys. We hope that you are treated with respect and treat others with respect, as is every sentient being's right. And to look after each other in these crazy, crazy, crazy times, as the world seems to be blowing up all around us. In the meantime, thank you very much, fellows and fellasses. I've just made up another new word. Hailing frequencies are now closed.